Willis and Wade's relationship has been called into question and could cause them to be dismissed from the high-profile case.
Clear that disqualification can occur if evidence is produced demonstrating an actual conflict or the appearance of one.
Judge Scott McAfee says today's hearing will get to the bottom of allegations levied against the DA and Wade.
Whether a relationship existed, whether that relationship was romantic or non-romantic in nature, when it formed, and whether it continues.
The two have admitted to a personal relationship in court documents, which Wade says started in 2022. But a motion filed by defendant Michael Roman says Willis and Wade were romantically involved when she hired him in November 2021 to the election interference case.
This Trump prosecution is developing like a real-life movie with twists and turns, and you don't know what's going to happen next. Here we are, the DA, Fani Willis, about to get disqualified. We're going to take a look at a clip by Nate the lawyer that points out everything that's been happening in the Fani Willis case. Make sure you watch all the way to the end and write down your opinion. My name is Noel. Welcome to Verbal on Life. And I'm trying to get up to 2,000 subscribers. So far, we're up to 1,500. Go ahead and click on that subscribe button. Here, the goal is to prosecute Donald Trump for election interference. What is the judge going to decide? Is he going to go with disqualifying the DA? Or is he going to allow her to continue this trial? Let's take a look at what's been developing.
An explosive court filing in Atlanta today, now raising new questions about Fulton County District Attorney Fani Willis and the relationship that she had with the special prosecutor that she hired to oversee the election interference case against former President Donald Trump.
It seems like Fani Willis and Nathan Wade have been caught in a lie. Okay, so to understand this story, we got to talk about the timeline of events and what's going on. So let me give you a quick breakdown. Now, the story starts with a man named Terrence Bradley. Terrence Bradley was Nathan Wade's divorce attorney. Now, Terrence Bradley was let go by Nathan Wade, and it seemed like he had a bone to pick. So he then contacted Ashley Merchant, who was representing one of the 19 co-defendants in the Trump RICO case.
And you know, it's crazy that he contacted her. But then when he got put in the stand, he didn't want to admit to it.
Became involved in this matter because you called me. Right?
Absolutely not.
I didn't call you.
No, it was through a third party.
I read an article that was published September 11th discussing how much you and Mr. Wade were handling me, correct?
That is correct.
And you called me that same day and left me a voicemail on my cell phone asking me to call you back.
I do not recall that, but I do not recall that.
You don't recall that?
I do not.
So
He doesn't recall that. He didn't want to come off as a snitch.
it's possible that happened.
I do not recall calling you after the article came out.
Take a look at that and just verify if that's your number and your cell phone.
That is my number and my cell phone.
Okay, and is that also your email address?
That is my email address.
Okay.
Now, he goes and tells Ashley Merchant that their sexual relationship started in 2019 when the two were municipal court judges.
I sent you a statement and said, upon information and belief, Willis and Wade met while both were serving as a magistrate judge and began a romantic relationship at that time. And you corrected me and say, no, it was in municipal court. Is that correct?
I think that's pretty accurate.
Now, Fani Willis's best friend at the time says that Nathan Wade and Fani Willis's personal relationship, the sexual relationship, started in 2019.
You hear me okay? Ma'am, let me be very
And I think that alone is enough to disqualify Fani Willis.
specific. Did you talk with Ms. Willis about her romantic relationship with Mr. Wade?
Yes,
Did Ms. Willis tell you on more than one occasion that she was engaged in a romantic relationship with Mr. Wade prior to you leaving the district attorney's office?
did she tell me or did I observe?
I'm straight right now with the tell me.
Yes,
Did she tell you that in the year of 2020?
yes,
In the year of 2021?
yes,
Are you certain that Ms. Willis told you about the romantic relationship with Mr. Wade prior to November 1st of 2021?
yes,
So that's one person. And the more people that collaborates what she's saying, the worse it gets for Fani.
Now, did you also have observations of Mr. Wade and Miss Willis together prior to November 1st of 2021?
Yes.
And are those observations, were those in a social setting?
Yes.
Although I will say that she may be picking a bone with Fani because Fani did fire her. And therefore, she might be upset and just saying this to get back. But you let me know. Write down your opinion. Is she doing this just to get back at Fani? And that's what Fani can say. So technically, it's not disqualifying.
And did you observe them do things that are common among people having a romantic relationship?
Yes.
Such as, can you give us an example?
Hugging, kissing, just affection.
All before November 1st of 2021, correct?
Yes.
Now, Fani Willis and Nathan Wade adamantly reject this testimony. They say that their personal relationship only started after she hired Nathan Wade as special counsel, and that occurred in 2022, 3 years after both the other witnesses testified that the relationship started.
And when did you start dating?
When I started dating Mr. Wade, it was right around then.
April 2022?
22, yes.
2022.
It was.
Now, Fani can say that technically they started dating, like verbally between the two. It was an agreement that from now on we're dating, where before maybe they were just hooking up. You know, you could hook up as two grown adults and not be dating. So she could bring that up. But what do you think? If you hook up with an individual, is that dating automatically? Or can that be considered just two grown adults hooking up?
I do not consider our relationship to have become romantic until early of 2022. Because I don't know a date and time. I'm saying sometime between February and April of 2022.
When did your romantic relationship with Miss Willis begin?
2022,
When in 2022?
early 2022.
So they both sounds like they talked about it and came up with an agreement like this is what we're going to say when we get to the stage.
Okay, so we have a quandary now. We got two witnesses under oath essentially saying that, yeah, the relationship started back in 2019. And you now have two witnesses, the sitting DA and the lead prosecutor in the case, saying the relationship started in 2022. That's what brings us to the new evidence that dropped today. In this filing from Donald J. Trump's attorneys, they evaluate the cell phone records, including cell phone tower data, call logs, and text messages, to see exactly if they can get a better picture of when the relationship actually started.
And by the way, a lot of the data information, it's all approximation. There's nothing saying that they were in the same spot together, same location.
Here's what they found generally.
Some breaking news right now at noon. A private investigator hired by former President Donald Trump's Georgia attorneys alleged more than 2,000 phone calls and just under 12,000 text messages took place between Fulton County District Attorney Fani Willis and her special prosecutor Nathan Wade.
So 2,000 phone calls. This could all be in the process of getting to know each other. It's a lot of talking. Relationships are the most difficult things in life. I think to us, the non-lawyers, just the observers of this whole thing, yes, to me that sounds like a relationship. But I just foresee the DA, Fani Willis, saying that we were just talking, getting to know each other. And in order to date her, it's a lot of talking. What do you think? Comment below. Was it just a lot of talking between the two?
Before he was hired. This morning, Trump attorneys Steve Sadow and Jennifer Little filed an affidavit in Fulton County Superior Court from Charles Middlestad. That's a 59-year-old criminal defense investigator who's now been hired to provide a voice call and text history for Nathan Wade. Wade and Willis engaged in a now acknowledged, I should say, a romantic relationship, but the couple claim that their relationship began after Willis hired Wade to assist in her investigation and subsequent indictment of Trump and his allies.
Now, so she could stick to her guns, right? And it's up to the judge to believe her or just look at the obvious, that these two were talking way before they started with Donald Trump?
Now, back in 2019, Fani Willis was living with a woman named Ms. Yardy. You saw her testimony before when she testified that the relationship started in 2019. So the investigators looked at the cell phone towers where Fani Willis was living at the time, where Nathan Wade was living at the time, and at the DA's office, and then they tracked their locations throughout the city. How many times did Nathan Wade stay over Fani Willis's house? How many times did he stay over her house? To see if there was any inklings of a relationship prior to 2020, when Nathan Wade and Fani Willis said the relationship actually started. So they focused on 2 times before 2022, specifically September 11th, 2021 to September 12th, 2021. This is months before Nathan Wade and Fani Willis said the relationship started. So looking at their geolocation, they found Nathan Wade traveling directly to and arriving within the geofence located on the Dogwood address at approximately 10:45 p.m. Now, the Dogwood address is where Fani Willis was living at the time. And they saw leaving the Dogwood address at approximately 3:28 a.m.
So technically, he didn't sleep over. That's an excuse that she can use. Like, he came to visit and left at 3:28. Not sleeping over. So it's all about what they're saying. And what they said in court was that he didn't sleep over. But still, this looks suspect. Right down below, what do you think?
Again, this is Nathan Wade going at 10:45 p.m. and leaving at 3:28 in the morning. And he traveled directly to towers near Marietta residence in East Cobb. Now, why is that important? Because that's where he lived. So 10:45, he shows up to Fani Willis's house. 3:28, he leaves, and then he drives home and arrives at his house at 4:05.
This can be argued. So let's see what the DA says about this.
5 in the morning. And then he texts Fani Willis at 4:20. Now, remember, the relationship was supposed to have started in 2022. But again, the geolocation seems to tell a different story. In November 2021, November 30th particularly, they say that there was a call between Fani Willis and Nathan Wade that lasted about 40 minutes at 11:32 p.m. Then Nathan Wade left near his residence at 12:05 a.m. midnight. He then made an outgoing call to Fani Willis at about 12:38 a.m. and then traveled directly and arriving to the geofence located at the Dogwood address. That's where Fani Willis lived at 12:43 a.m. And he left that address at 4:55 in the morning, traveling to the Atlanta area. Now, this seems to be proof that some type of relationship existed.
It definitely has the appearance of impropriety, a violation of the rules of behavior. So it does appear awful. I think based on that, the judge should disqualify Fani Willis and just throw this case out. Send it to a different district attorney's office, because if she gets disqualified, the whole office gets disqualified.
Prior to 2022, where he's going to Fani Willis's house in the middle of the night, leaving early the next morning, and then claiming that, maybe they had a prayer vigil for all that time. Who really knows, right? But is it reasonable to think that on those 2 occasions that we showed you, because I don't even know if there's any more, but on those 2 occasions that I showed you, that is not indicative of a personal relationship? Now, we haven't heard what the responses to this, but I think this is damning. And if this evidence is true and accurate, as is being alleged by both the attorneys and the investigators, then it seems like Fani Willis and Nathan Wade have a problem. They've committed perjury.
So the judge has to interpret all of this. There's no jury. It's all up to the judge, who seems like a reasonable human being, right? This seems obvious to all of us, just viewers watching. But at the end of the day, it's all up to the judge. Let's keep listening.
Explosive court filing in Atlanta today, now raising new questions about Fulton County District Attorney Fani Willis and the relationship that she had with the special prosecutor that she hired to oversee the election interference case against former President Donald Trump. Cell phone data obtained by Trump's legal team shows Nathan Wade, that special prosecutor, visited Willis's neighborhood at least 35 times in the 11 months before Willis hired him in late 2021. Twice, Wade arrived late at night and left early the following morning. The data shows about 2,000 calls and 12,000 text messages between Wade and Willis from January to November 2021.
Well, it matters because the testimony has been that Fani Willis and Nathan Wade became friends. They met at a conference, and he was hired before any of this took place, and that they did not have any type of relationship other than completely a business relationship. Now, if these texts and if these pings on the telephone are accurate, that changes the entire ball game and means that there could be some untruth that's been told under oath.
Just based on that, it should be disqualified.
In other words, it could be perjury, and I hope it isn't.
So, do you think Nathan Wade and Fani Willis are truth tellers and that their relationship started in 2022, as they assert? Or do you think they have a problem?
I think they have a problem. At the end of the day, these are two grown adults that were maybe in conversation, that were texting each other and building a relationship. It's an excuse that she can use. So then it's up to the judge to decide if he believes that excuse, if he's going to go with that. This trial has so many twists and turns that we don't know what's going to happen next. This Friday, March 1st, the judge is going to rule if he's going to disqualify Fani or not. With all the twists and turns, we got to keep watching and see what's going on. If you like what you saw so far, go ahead and subscribe. We're up to 1,500 subscribers. And thanks for watching. See you guys in the next video. Peace.
Verbal or life.
You know what they said? When you aim at the king, you best not miss. And Fani Willis went after Trump, and now her whole case is collapsing. Crazy, crazy development. But you know what I think? Trump 2024. Let's go. This Friday, March 1st, we're going to take a look to see what happens, so we can all be verbal on life.